Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. You see the website right there. They are coming to Knoxville for the Downtown Knoxville Boat Show. That's March 5th through the 8th, so that's coming up. But the boat show incentives, those great rebates, the prices, the deals, all of that going on right now. It's already underway at Madisonville Marine, Highway 411 North, right there in Madisonville. You're not going to find a bigger selection of boats anywhere between Atlanta and Nashville. It is a monster dealership and just great people running it. Madisonville Marine. All right, let's take a look at Tennessee's 2020 defensive staff. Derek Ansley's back, and that's it. Shelton Felton, again, my favorite name on the staff now. Shelton Felton takes over for Chris Rumpf. Brian Niedermeyer, he returns to the staff, but he's changing from tight ends to inside linebackers. Jimmy Brumbaugh comes in. I don't know much about him. He's the one guy that doesn't have much history with Pruitt, although he does have a history with Derek Ansley. They worked together at Kentucky. And I remember a few years ago when everybody was saying, let's go raid Mark Stoops' staff. But no word on a 2020 special teams coordinator, as David pointed out earlier, because Scherer had that last year. So who's going to be doing that, if anybody's going to get that title? Thoughts here, though, and I'll let you guys go, but I'll just say this. You're losing Taylor, Batuli in your linebacker groups. You don't have a ton of depth there, and you're bringing in two new linebacker coaches. I might feel better about it if I knew you had the same hands directing it, but we'll see. These guys could be better than the hands that were directing it last year. I just think the linebacker is going to be key this year, because I feel better about the defensive line. I feel pretty good about the secondary. Wondering about the linebackers, and you've had total change there. Thoughts on the defensive staff? That's one where it's more up for grabs. Thoughts?
I think the biggest thing is just Pruitt is going with guys that he believes in that certainly aren't as proven. You look at Chris Rumpf, Florida, Texas, he's been everywhere. Tracy Rocker, same thing, everywhere. You got Shelton Felton, high school, Akron, analyst on Tennessee's staff. Brings him back. That's a pretty.
After 1 year at Akron, he brought him back.
For him to bring him as an on-field coach is a big step. And so Niedermeyer, obviously they believe in him, want to keep him, and so this is more about, this staff looks like guys that Pruitt believes in, and is he correct?
But
time will tell.
Wouldn't we have said last year that the guys he hired were people in? I don't think when he hired Chris Rumpf he said, "Oh, I don't believe in this guy."
No, but those guys had proven themselves.
I'm not trying to be argumentative.
No, but those guys had proven themselves. These guys,
okay.
Niedermeyer
I see what you're saying.
has never coached, an on-field role in the defensive side of the ball. Brumbaugh is the most experienced of those guys, but he still hasn't been in a lot of
these
blue
guys
bloods.
Pruitt has seen something in.
Yeah,
more so.
Shelton Felton, certainly. His resume is pretty thin, but Pruitt spent some time with him, and it's one of those things where maybe you don't have those same credentials that those guys do, but you're hungry and Pruitt believes in you. It's his program. We'll see if he's right. Yeah, his defense. We'll see if he's right.
And I think going with younger guys and it being his defense, maybe that makes it easier for Pruitt to say, "Here's what we're going to do. No, go do it." And instead of other guys who may say, "Yeah, but when I was here we did this. When I was here we did that." Nope. Here's what we're going to do. You go do it.
I also wonder where is his. He's a guy that's been his career, much like Nick Saban, was defensive backfield. Is he going to move a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage this year, and kind of leave Ansley back there with the secondary and focus more with Shelton Felton and Niedermeyer, two young guys? Is he going to focus more on linebackers this year?
Well, Vince pointed out the offensive staff is literally bigger in terms of the amount of bodies you have over there.
6 versus 4.
Yeah, part of that is because Jeremy Pruitt can be hands-on coaching the defensive side of the ball. That's going to, I'm sure, continue. And, maybe there's a little more – like Jim Chaney on the offensive side can be the roamer, right? He doesn't have a specific position. Maybe Jeremy Pruitt is the defensive roamer.
Yeah, it's smaller and it's young. All those guys are very young. Like Bob mentioned, kind of fitting in. All right, here's the Pruitt defense. You guys are just going to coach. Niedermeyer had that position versatility coming in. Jeremy Pruitt's talked about, any of these guys can coach any position. So that helps you there. But I think there is some risk in bringing in, all these young guys to hopefully fill in. I think the D-line, too, that still needs some progression. Yeah, you got a lot out of your group last year. They still need to take another step, because I'm not sure there's a star there. Plus, you lose the pass rush of Darrell Taylor.
Yeah, it's not a finished product by any means.
And then also Derek Ansley. Pruitt has complimented Derek Ansley in saying, I wasn't gonna. I swore I wasn't going to I'd never not call the defense again. And then Ansley did a great job, and he gave it to him. But does that mean now he can trust him a little bit more on the back end to, like you mentioned, to move forward to the front seven? I don't know if he's gotten that level of trust, but if Ansley's good enough, then that will help Pruitt be able to get that done on the front seven.
Go ahead, David. Sorry.
No, I just think it is fascinating moves because it's just so different from the staff that he brought in, which was all established guys. It was not hard to see like, okay, what are you sort of seeing these guys, and it's interesting. And also, good note on Shelton Felton, 2 sons, Shelton Jr., Shelton III.
Really?
For sure, it's fantastic.
He likes that name. All right.
We all do.
Kind of the George Foreman approach to things. What was I going to say? Oh, it was interesting that one of the selling points when Pruitt got here, Butch Jones famously said, we're going to have the best staff in America. And it was a bunch of guys who, I think 1 or 2 had been in the SEC before everybody else had been at smaller schools. So Pruitt comes in and we all go, ooh, look, it's all SEC, it's all big-time programs, it's all the South. We got it, look what he's done. And now, that's not the case anymore. Are people going to go back to saying, wait a second, I thought this was supposed to be a great staff? Or is it now, we love you, Coach, you were 8-5 last year, whatever you do works until you lose to Florida.
Ask us again in November.
It's interesting, though.
He's a wonderkid, a kingmaker, and if they're 4-5, what is happening? This guy's terrible.
Well,
that's exactly what it's going to be.
After Georgia State and BYU, no one would. If he'd made these moves after the Georgia State game, it'd be a totally different reaction to the return of Shelton Felton. But instead, now it's like, hey, you won your bowl. If they lose to Indiana in the bowl game, it's a totally different reaction. Think about that.
Yep.
Think about that. If this team had lost that bowl game, and if you were on social media, it was not pretty in the third quarter of that game. If they'd lost, and then you go through all these coaching changes take on a completely different look. These are guys getting out of there. These are guys trying to escape. And instead, it's all meant to be.
That's a good point.
First bad loss, then that's where it's going to flip to. Such is life with following this team in the fan.
That's how it goes.
First good loss. First loss.
Well, I say welcome to Shelton Felton Jr., and Shelton Felton III. I'm going to enjoy saying that name for years to come, I hope. All right, when we come back, it's been a disappointing year for Tennessee. We got more football to come, but it's been a disappointing year for UT basketball. Let's talk about bright spots. Who would you say is your MVP of this team? Fulkerson? Vescovi? Where's your MVP? We'll come back and discuss this. Come on back.